fans, here we are, episode number 5 of The Dirt here, presented by DirtTrackDigest.com. My name is Mike Mallett, and continuing my eastern side of New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts border, I'm here with Matt, Tanner, and I was talking to LJ Lombardo earlier today. You'll see this about a week after that one airs, and he lived in the middle of Danbury, Connecticut, and I got to say, you live in the exact opposite, the middle of nowhere, no offense.
Yeah, there's not much out here. Pretty much Lebanon Valley is 10 minutes away, and I don't know, next closest thing is maybe Malta, an hour away, but yeah, it's not the place to be to race sprint cars.
So let's talk about this. Let's go through your early career. How does Matt Tanner, a kid growing up here in Stephentown, New York, where we are, end up racing sprint cars with the, obviously now with the Empire Super Sprints, but we know you've ran CRSA and run some other stuff. So talk about your career and how we get to where we are here in 2020.
Kind of grew up down in Lebanon Valley. My father's raced down there at Pro Stocks forever, and I kind of got started late. I was 13 or 14 before I started racing go-karts or whatever down to Whip City, Massachusetts. And but once we started doing it, we kind of moved along pretty quick. We only spent 2 years in go-karts, a year in mini sprints, and right into 305s. Did that for 3 years and right into 360s. So it all kind of happened quick, but it's been fun and a little different, like you said, running sprint cars from where we are when we're kind of in modified country. But it's kind of just what I've kind of fell into.
Talk about Whip City a little bit, because I remember hearing back in the day, everybody that was anybody that ran micro sprints and mini sprints and those kind of things ran Whip City. What was it about that place that got all you guys in? Now, you obviously, I think it's probably because it was close, but what brought everybody there, and what was it like racing there?
Yeah, for me, it's probably the closest go-kart track at the time, and I had some friends, John Virgilio and Brett Haas were over there. They had already started racing, so it's that's how I got into it. And but yeah, they always had really good competition. You had Bubba Broderick was racing mini sprints when I was there. David Gravel actually was racing 600s like about the same time I raced go-karts. And there were some other big names that went to blacktop racing, obviously down there, pretty close to Stafford and stuff. But yeah, it was a fun track, kind of taught you a little everything. The go-kart track, a little throttle control, and then the bigger track for the micros was kind of on the big side for them, so you kind of learned a little bit about flat-out racing. But like I said, there's actually quite a few pretty good drivers come out of there.
Why go sprint car racing? You mentioned we're only 15 minutes or so from Lebanon Valley Speedway. You can roll down the hill to the place basically from here. How do you end up in sprint cars, considering you see big blocks and small blocks and sportsmen, and you mentioned your dad running Pro Stocks. How do you make the decision to go sprint cars when living here that you're going to be on the road?
Kind of the decision just came up, and it was like great. Sportsmen were just starting out at that time. 305 thing was kind of new, and there was a guy down in Nassau that had a 305, and we kind of went down there and checked that out. And Warren Alexson actually was fairly close to us there out in Albany that had a 305, and kind of it just took off from there. Like, that's what we were going to do. Kind of took that over the Crate Sportsman's, and it just kept rolling from there. Obviously, every now and then when you're 7 hours away with a sprint car, you're thinking, I could be down to Lebanon Valley, 15 minutes from home and already be in my bed. But after hearing some people that have raced modifieds and come over to the sprint car world, I'm kind of glad we went this way.
Yeah. Well, obviously, sprint cars are fun. If you wonder why we're looking down, we got a pooch down here looking at us, and at some point it might be a star. So we'll save it and we'll see what happens here. But running sprint cars, you've had a lot of success in the sprint cars, especially the 305 portion of your career. Take us through that. CRSA champion, a lot of wins there. Multiple championships with CRSA. You had a lot of success there with the 305s.
Yeah, the first year we started out in 305s, we really didn't have much time in any big car. We only ran mini sprints for a year and right into the 305 stuff. And so it was a learning curve for us, and the competition was really good at that time. They were averaging like 28 cars, so it was tough. And we struggled that first year and finally got our first win at Penn Can, like almost the last race of the season. And then kind of did our homework for the next season, and it really took off from there. We had won championships in 2009, 2010 back-to-back, and won at some tracks that have turned into my favorites. So picked up a 305 win at Utica and kind of got that rolling.
We'll get to Utica, don't worry.
Kind of got that rolling, but we were fortunate enough to win at Accord back then. They still had wing cars there, Penn Can, Woodhull, which I haven't been to since then, I don't think, since we won. So got an opportunity to race in some of the smaller tracks that we don't get to go to now.
Yeah. Obviously with the 360, we're a lot of big tracks. I think the smallest place we go is probably Thunder Mountain, but Penn Can, could you pick a place farther away from home to win a race? I guess Woodhull maybe, but that's definitely out there. And I know Penn Can, I don't think they've had sprint cars for a while.
Yeah, it was funny because that year we struggled quite a bit there. It was one of the tracks I struggled at, and I think we had run Accord the night before, and it was like a makeup rain show or at Accord, and the next day went to King of the Can, and so things just worked out. It was one of those days where we had the car rolling really good and held off. I think his name was Brian Davis back then, was winning quite a bit, and we actually held him off. So like I said, just one of those things because things worked out that day.
So went from 305s to 360s, and obviously run with ESS. So what made you, did you think at that point after the couple of championships and so on, all right, it's time to move on and for the next challenge, or how did you decide to, make that jump to the 360s and up your traveling? Because, CRSA and the 305s, they travel a lot, but I think ESS is a whole different level of hitting the road.
Yeah, kind of didn't plan on going all in on 360 stuff. We bought Anthony Kane and Lonnie Lackley to help me out with the motor. It was one of theirs, and gave me a deal on it to kind of get me going. We had one of Jeff Cook's used cars, kind of made that into a 360 car, and still had our 305 car, and planned on just doing both. And like the second night out of the 305, we blew up a motor, and it was kind of, you're either gonna run some more 360 stuff or cut back. So got into the 360 stuff. I don't think we hit every race the first year, but then ever since then, I think we've hit every one, maybe missed one or two a season, but kind of just went in it.
All in. Once you're in, you were in. Let's talk 2019. Ups and downs, I think is the best way to say it. You had some good stuff happen and some stuff I know you probably wish was a little different.
Yeah, it was a most challenging year of my career. Been pretty fortunate. I've never tore up a lot of stuff, and I made up for it this year. This car.
I'm not laughing to make fun of you, but everybody that races knows that the racing gods giveth per se, and they take it away at some point. Unfortunately, that was kind of how the season started for you.
Yeah, first night out, we burned a piston in our good motor with 20 laps on it, so that kind of put us behind. Lucky enough to pick up a really good win at Utica with this car, and then two or three nights later, I destroyed it at Airborne, and that just kind of put us behind all year. Just didn't have our good stuff, and so, to run with ESS, you got to have top-notch equipment and have your stuff together. And finally, around Speed Week time, we got our other motor back and finished second Speed Week points. Kind of turned it around and got rolling really good. Finally got our second car back together and kind of turned things around. I think we ended up with 9 second-place finishes. I think 5 of them should have been wins if the driver was a little bit better. But then we had our luck at Fonda at the end of the year, kind of put us back in a hole going into the off season. But things are really, really looking good for next year.
You and I, and we were joking here in the shop earlier, talking about some hardship that you had to face. You're one of the few guys that's had your stuff stolen in Canada. When you went up to run a Schweeken and stayed the night, had some tough luck at a Schweeken. Next thing you know, you guys came out and all your stuff was gone. So tell the folks what transpired there. You were younger, and obviously your equipment was stolen, all gone. You come out of the hotel and like, oh crap, but fortunately got some of it back.
Yeah, like I said, we'd been up to Schweeken racing, flipped the car that night, destroyed that, and then decided to stay the night there in Brantford and woke up with nothing. Their truck and trailer was stolen, everything was gone, and at that point, I think you don't know what to do. So you just kind of go with it or whatever. And fortunate enough, we got back some of our equipment, the car, truck, trailer. Some of it was destroyed, and then other stuff was just complete loss of tools and stuff. But yeah, it's makes you think about how lucky you are to be able to do it in the first place when you realize what you've lost. But we were pretty fortunate compared to some of the other guys.
All right, you brought up Utica-Rome, and you always smile. Look, he smiles now. Even now, I mentioned Utica-Rome, and he smiles. What is it about Utica-Rome that you love the place? I know you didn't like the night of the 410s, but and if anyone was there the night of the 410s when the All-Stars were there this year, it rained and drop the hammer and get around Utica-Rome. But what is it about Utica? When I work with the SS and I announce with the SS, but when we go into a place like Utica, even Fulton too, you got a little different pep in the step. Like you can tell you're excited to be there.
Yeah, Utica, when I was around 305s, that was one of the places I hated going to because I just couldn't get a hold of it. And we actually started taking the 305 to some ESS shows, was trying to qualify and mainly get more laps. And finally got that win with the 305 at a CRSA race, and it just like something clicked about where I was running on the track. Won that night on the top, and ever since then, just something about getting around the top of Utica, it just seems to work for us. And it's even better when it gets real slick, but we've won some races there on some grip that we were able to work around the top, and it just seems to work out for me. But yeah, that 410 race was not what I was ready for.
I don't think anybody was ready for that because I don't think we've seen Utica like that maybe once or twice in the few times that I've worked there. But Mother Nature rained all day, you know, like we had a mist and so on, and it ended up hammered down. Let's think back in your career, you know, favorite race that you won, race that you went out and you wanted to win, or there was something about it that made it special.
Probably, I would have to say winning the Kevin Ward 13-lap shootout there with Kevin's motor in the car right after all that happened. That's probably the one, you know, get around frantic and then hold Steve off, and then just to do it under those circumstances was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And we know you have a very good relationship, close relationship with Kevin and the Ward family still. Obviously, we can see the Westward Painting Company here on the car behind us. So I mean, again, especially that was at Ashwegan, right?
No, was it?
Or was it Utica? Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I know they ran a Kevin Ward race at Ashwegan. Okay, it was Utica-Rome. Okay, well, hey, look, Utica-Rome again. So, and I'm the announcer, and I don't remember this stuff, but okay. So now that's the race that meant the most. What's the one that you let get away, or the one that, you know? There's always that one race that drivers think about that they let get away, and they just can't let it go.
Oh, we could be here for a while on this one, but there's quite a few this year. I gave up 2 that were definitely ours. I was leading and gave it up twice this year, so those are always tough to take. I think every Cole Cup, though, we've probably been one of the fastest cars, and just the redraws hurt us, or just circumstances got us behind, and that's pretty frustrating. I really want to win that race. If I could win the Cole Cup, that'd be pretty cool, but New York Nationals was tough this year to get around Steve. He's probably the best guy up here, and finally get around him clean, and I thought we had that one won, burned the tires up trying to stay ahead of him there, and he just got us at the end. That one was tough to take. Sean passed me on a restart this year at RPM with 1 lap to go. That was, you know, this is the first year that I've led more than, I think, 25 laps all year. I think we were pushing 40 laps we led this year and only had 1 win to show for us. So this year was pretty tough to take 9 second-place finishes when probably 4 or 5 of them should have been wins.
Let's talk Cole Cup. I'll say this. I made Barney do this. If you win the Cup, I'm coming back. And we're going to have a night out here in the shop and, you know, have a couple of beverages out of the Cup. I mean, I think that's – or maybe even on the front stretch at Utica if you win it. I'll bring it down and be like Stone Cold style.
Oh, we got a deal on that. If we win the Cole Cup, we'll probably have quite a party there, I'd say. But that's probably the one I really want to win the most. Like I said, New York Nationals would have been cool to win. We've had a lot of success at Canandaigua and thought we had some more this year and had to settle for second. But I think Cole Cup, we've set quick time almost every time you guys have had it, and just had super fast race cars, and just I think one year we came from 12th to 3rd. This year we came from, I think, 9th to 3rd, and we just need to start up a little bit further. When you got that many good cars there, you can't be starting that far back. And as you know, I'm not really the best at the pill draw, so maybe we can go to passing points or something like that this year and change that. But.
Okay, stop. All right, I'm not changing the format because we go to passing points. That's a lot of work for me. All right, and I can't do all these numbers things. I teach history. All right, they don't. Yeah, heads up. Yeah, right. Well, maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll talk. We'll see, but no guarantees. All right, let's look at ESS. You've had some success. You're right there in the mix now, all right? You know, the first couple of years, obviously learning years, but now you're getting closer. You're a guy contending for the championship. What's it going to take for this team to just get over that little bit of a hump and to get one of these titles? I mean, it's tough. As you know, anybody that runs with ESS knows the competition is very difficult and challenging. You go to a lot of places. So what's it going to take for this 90 team to get over that hump and to put this thing at the top?
Probably if we got Weedsport out of the schedule, that'd help us a lot, but... No, all the pieces are here. We've got great sponsors that believe in what we're doing and have gave me everything I need. Obviously, you learn every time you go out on the track. Even, I mean, Jason and Steve and all these guys learn every time they go on the track, so we always pick up new stuff. I mean, we were horrible at Brewerton. I ran second there twice this year, so we're going places. But, you know, all the equipment's there. It's just getting everything to roll together, right? You know, you can't have a bad night with the ESS. Everybody's on their game. I mean, this year I don't think anybody expected Paulie to come out and do what he did, and that's what you need. It seems like every year somebody has a breakout year. Jason did it. Obviously, Chuck and Steve do it quite a bit, but hopefully this is our breakout year, and we can put those 4 or 5 wins that were second places this year, put them away, and I think that would be the difference, really. Mm-hmm. If you just look at, I think Paulie had 7 wins this year. That was the difference right there, and I think we ran second to him 3 or 4 of those nights. So you flip those, and that puts you right there. So that's the biggest thing, just capitalize and get a little better pill draw. You know, it's really a lot of stuff that fall into place.
You're going to make me look now because I track everybody's pill draw at every race. So I'm going to go back and do your average eventually, and we'll see what it ends up being.
It's going to be pretty bad. I think there was 5 nights in a row this year I drew 67. Mm-hmm. But luckily with the ESS format, we set quick time, and that kind of turned it around for us. So I think since I went to that format, that's definitely helped us the last few years. And like you said, we're right there. It's, we were only 10 points behind Cobra for second points this year, and it's just those little things. I think this year it's going to be a little more wide open because I don't know how many like Steve and Chuck are going to come back and do the whole thing. So it could be our year. Get up there and race with Barney a little bit and slow Paulie down. Maybe we'll have something.
Your race team, a lot of family, mostly family that comes with you to the race team, races and does all this with you. What's it mean to you to have your family around and to be able to do this the way you guys do it? Family-run team, family operation, and together on the road doing and working out of the trailer and the shop and all that together.
Yeah, it's really my stepfather, PJ, my father, and me are the only ones on the road usually. Once in a while we'll get somebody else to tag along with us, but it's usually just us three, and got a couple of great guys that are here at the shop quite a bit that help us out a ton because by the time we get back from work and everything, those guys are already here doing. It's not even, it's just the little stuff that they do. They're out making sure that the wheel bearings are greased on the trailer or that tires are mounted and just stuff like that, and it really means a lot. I wish they could get to the track more to see the car, but obviously they can't. So it's nice to bring them back a trophy, so they got something to see. All their hard work went to use. But yeah, it's a blast. We have a lot of fun. I think the pressure's off a little bit at that point when you don't have somebody owning it or looking over you that much. But these guys put enough pressure on me there. You didn't want to be in the trailer after those two races I gave away. But yeah, we have a blast. It's a lot of fun. Emily and Billy been around the last 2 years with us, so that's pretty cool to have everybody around. And some nights it's a lot of pressure, and you'd rather just be up in Canada by yourself someplace racing. But we have a lot of fun, and that's what it's about. Nobody's making money at it. We're not professional drivers, just doing it for a hobby. So it's cool to have everybody around, and most will make it out to Utica to watch. So.
All right, you mentioned Emily and Billy. Obviously, you're with Emily Van Inwigen, and you're racing Billy Van Inwigen. Any little, pseudo brother-in-law rivalry there yet? And he had a breakout year for himself. Got his first couple of wins out of the way and bagged those. So is there a little, hey, I got to make sure I beat him so you don't have to hear it when you come back to the house?
I wouldn't say so much, but I think when you're out there, just kind of that natural, I want to beat that guy, comes into effect maybe a little bit more. But there's always, a couple of those drivers when you're out there, you just really want to race, like Jason and Chuck. You just want to beat those guys. And but yeah, sometimes Emily, when I went and raced a 305 there a few times, I was a little nervous that maybe she was going to get the best of me, but fortunately we came out on top on those couple of races. So
who's your favorite guy to race with the SS?
Well, that's a tough one. I'm going to have to say Cobra, just because the intensity he brings out there. Like when you're out there, he doesn't care who you are. Like Jason, when you're racing with him, you kind of know who you're racing with, but when you're out there with Chuck, it's anything goes. And I've been racing with him enough now, and he's got me enough times that you kind of just want to really beat him when you're out there. I'd say him, or anytime you can beat Steve. Just as good as Steve is, if you can top him on one night, you're going places.
All right, let's shift away from the racing a little bit. You mentioned not a full-time race car driver. You do it for the love of the sport, like a lot of us. What do you do when you're not racing? What's the day job?
I work for Reifenberg Contracting as a foreman for them, and been doing that for 8 years now. And luckily, they're the major supporter behind the hobby here. So they're big into modifieds at Lebanon Valley, have been for years. So just really cool to have them on board, and they believe in what we're doing, and fortunate enough that they provide me with a good job too.
What are you doing day to day as the foreman? You yelling at people? Like me, I yell all day at people. That's all I do. I'm a teacher. I tell them all, sit down, shut up, all right? But what do you do?
I'm pretty quiet most of the time, but no, just oversee a crew, usually whatever our job is for the day, putting in curb or grading roads or whatever it may be. Usually oversee 2 or 3 guys, just make sure everything's getting done, and make sure we get everything done before Friday so we can go race.
All right. You're not going racing on a weekend. Relaxing, having fun. What's the one place? If Matt Tanner can go anywhere to hang out and relax, where are you going? I mean, not Stephentown. I can tell you that because I saw the town coming in. It's not very big.
During the summer, there isn't. If we're not racing, we're usually here anyway, working on the car.
I told you this is not racing talk, so you got to come up with something else.
Come fall time, we do a lot of deer hunting. This year we went to Ohio for a week after the season was over. The racing season was over. We went to Ohio for a week, and pretty much after that, I'm in the woods nonstop until it's over. So that's what I like to do.
Did you get anything this year?
Yeah, fortunately, I shot the biggest buck I've ever shot this year, right up here behind the house. So
I don't see the head mounted yet.
Oh, it's over to my house. It's just a race shop.
Oh, that can't go in the race shop. You got to keep the two separate. All right. So if Emily wants to go away, and she's making you go. Where's she going to make you go that you probably don't want to go?
Oh, probably the beach.
You're not a beach guy? I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, she's big into the beach, so we usually try to sneak up to maybe Maine if we got a weekend off that we know, or if we get a rain out, we'll sneak up to Lake George. Kind of about the only other places we go besides the racetrack.
I think that what's funny is, I've done a bunch of these so far, and we all talk about life outside of racing, and it's so tough for everybody. It's like, well, we go racing. Like that's what you do, and that's the things you do and what we all spend our time on. All right, so we're going out to dinner. Where are you going to dinner, and what are you having?
Ooh, around here, we'd probably go to...
well, you can pick your favorite place. It doesn't have to be within, there's nothing within an hour. Let's be fair, there's nothing within an hour, but hour and 10 minutes.
I would actually have to say probably M&M's Tap and Tavern where we got the pizza tonight. It's just down the road right by Lebanon Valley Racetrack, so we'll run down there usually once a week and grab something, but it's usually the place to go. Like I said, every other place we go to eat's probably on the road someplace racing, so we spend a lot of time out in Brewerton area and go to the waterfront out there and stuff. But
I won't hold that against him. I'm a Jake's guy myself, but he goes to the waterfront, which is okay, but I like Jake's just down the road. But so I'll give the wings place credit. Those were pretty good wings and pizza that I had here, so I'm not going to complain. That was part of my deal. I get fed when I come here. But favorite meal can't be just pizza and wings. Come on, you got to step up your game, man. Come on. And then again, Matt Williamson said chicken tenders and fries. So if you want to go down that road, you can do that too.
I'd probably have to say like a good cheeseburger. It's pretty simple. Cheeseburger and fries is usually the go-to, but I'm gonna have to go with that.
If you had a different hobby other than racing and hunting, anything else that you'd be doing right now if you weren't spending all these hours in the shop and doing all this stuff?
Well, I don't even think I know what to do with myself. Even just after the season's over, when you've got nothing to do on the weekends or at night that you really have to get done in the shop, you're kind of lost. Like our life revolves around this. Usually we go out to Chili Bowl in January and watch out there, and then if Billy's racing in Florida, we go down there and watch, or we went and raced ourselves one year, or make it to an indoor race. There's snowmobile races. Like, it's pretty much all we do is go to the races.
Yeah, let's be fair. Florida's not about the racing. Come on, I heard some of the stories that were told in this shop before this video started, and I didn't hear much about the racing going on in those stories. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there can be some tough days when it gets rained out in Florida down there. The main goal is to go watch some racing down there, but there's a lot of other stuff to do before the races get started. Spend your time at the ocean deck or something like that, or a lot of time if it just happens to work out that way. But like I said, we just try to, I don't even know if we do it on purpose, but somehow we end up at a race. I think we've been to Chili Bowl 8 times now just to watch.
I got to be honest with you, I'm not a Chili Bowl guy. I just don't get it. You sit indoors, there's always people sitting on each other's laps, and there's like 300 cars and 7 of them can win. I don't get it. As a sprint car guy, I'm almost disappointed, Matt. You're supposed to like wings on top.
If you go out there, though, I was hooked on it. I went out because Tim McCready won. I was a big Tim McCready fan, so we started going out, and I was hooked on it. Like, I'm a wing guy, not much on non-wing racing, but there's just something about that place. It's the best racing you'll ever see. It's just wheel to wheel. Nobody gets out in clean air, gets away from the other guys, and they're all doing it for like no money. They got
that is accurate. Yes,
they've got some pretty expensive cars there for I think $10,000 to win and a golden driller.
Yeah.
But it's just. And you got the best guys there. There's the best drivers from every discipline are there. It's, like I said, it's probably the best race you'll ever go see. But I've never been to Knoxville, so.
All right, now I won't hold that against them because I've been to Knoxville, the last 13 years or whatever. I think you're missing out, man. But, of course, ESS has some races, so that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, hopefully one day we're fortunate enough to take our stuff out and give it a try. That's one of my bucket list tracks. Some of the stuff down in Pennsylvania that I haven't made it to yet. Eldora, obviously, everybody wants to run there. So still got some stuff I'd like to accomplish before we hang up the helmet here. But hopefully everybody's behind us for a few more years. We can get some, I really want to win the ESS championship. That's like the main goal right now. Like I said, we're pretty close. So I feel like that's the next one. Win that Coal Cup.
I want you to win the Coal Cup too. And I'll promise this year when I do my picks for Speedway. Do you want me to pick you or not? Because you always give me crap when I pick you. So do you want me to stay away from picking you for anything that week, or do you want me to throw you into the mix?
It had never worked out till this year, and it all worked out fine. So I guess we can stick with it, but you probably should pick me for Sunday because I think we can win any of the nights. Brewerton's probably the toughest one for me, but I think we can win any of the nights. So we probably can take a pick this year. Really like to win one at Can-Am. I think I've run second or third there the last 6 times maybe or 5 times, so be nice to grab one there. Obviously, anytime you can win is good, but there's some tracks you'd like to win at more than others that we've been close at, and hopefully we can seal the deal this year.
Well, buddy, thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's a great time here. We're in Stephentown in God's country, all right? You go until you hear banjos and then turn left, and that's how I found the house today. But it's been fun, man. I appreciate it, and looking forward to 2020. I didn't screw it up this time, all right? And all the things with ESS. So you can catch Matt, obviously, with the Empire Super Sprints. And hopefully you're enjoying this edition here of The Dirt. And, of course, follow along on the Dirt Track Digest YouTube channel. We'll have more for you. That's Matt Tanner. I'm Mike Mallett. Again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you down the road at the races.